Coming up on today's video, we're going to break down everything coming out of Giants training camp practice on Monday. And we're going to start with the latest injury news on Evan Neal, Cordale Flott, and Colin Johnson, a couple of other players we got to talk about. Then we will also spend some time and update you guys on the position battles, some that went down in the game against the Lions. But we'll talk about what's happening at practice today. And did the Giants find another rookie gem on day 3 of the NFL draft? Brian Baldinger as well as Brian Daboll are singing the praises of this defensive rookie. But first, before we get into all of that, I need to make sure you all are subscribed to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. We're going to continue to put out videos every day on Big Blue, but we are also going to be live Friday on the channel for a watch party against the Carolina Panthers. And at that watch party, we're going to be giving away tickets to Giants-Jets preseason week 3. So subscribe, turn your notifications on, and join us this Friday. Alrighty, let's dive into it. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Evan Neal, who has really missed the last week and a half of practice after sustaining a head injury, a concussion. He was back in a limited fashion today on Monday. Did only participate in non-contact portions of practice, but this is a step in the right direction. He did not play on Friday's game against the Detroit Lions, but I would expect him to play this Friday against the Carolina Panthers, and I honestly expect a good portion of the starters to play, considering Brian Daboll told the media he expects Daniel Jones to play at least once in this preseason. So hopefully we can have Evan Neal, Andrew Thomas, and Daniel Jones all on the field for Big Blue this Friday. Let's start with more injury news. Guys that were not at practice for the Giants on Monday. Devery Hamilton still dealing with an injury. Tyree Phillips, 2 guys on the offensive line not at practice in an area that did not look good in the preseason game. So you need these guys to get healthy. Colin Johnson was also not at practice, dating back to his injury against the Detroit Lions, left with a knee. And Brian Daboll made it seem like it's not going to be season-ending. He said, I don't think it's long-term, but I'm not a doctor. So a little funny right there from Brian Daboll. Gary Brightwell also did not practice. Nick McLeod, Cam Brown, and Ryder Anderson were on that list. But Rakeem Nunez Roches, who's been battling with some injuries, was a limited participant in practice, so we included him where he was only a limited guy. Cordale Flott, though, who left the game this past Friday with an ab injury, he was back at practice. So that's good news for this secondary, for this defense, and Cordale Flott. A player that he played all right in the game on Friday, I would say. Had a nice pass breakup on 4th down, but if it was a good throw, it would have been a touchdown. He was cooked, but right place, right time. Never going to really say anything badly about a guy that does make the play. But I am honestly worried about this slot corner position for this secondary. I like Cordale Flott. I just don't know if he's ready to be every single down player in the NFL, yet still somewhat small and has not looked all that good at training camp. So I'm expecting Darnay Holmes to be the winner of the slot position battle, a guy that I thought could be cut earlier in this offseason. A lot of beat reporters were reporting that, but it looks like he's going to be the starting slot corner. So when you look at this depth chart, you got Dory Jackson, you got Darnay Holmes, and you have Deonte Banks. Tre Hawkins flashed a little bit in the first game of his rookie career. In his rookie season, in the preseason. We didn't see Nick McLeod. I want to see him get a crack at that slot position where Darius Williams and Amani Oruwariye didn't look that good, and Aaron Robinson remains on the PUP. And speaking of the PUP list, we have a player that has been elevated off that list, and that is 5th-round selection, the nose tackle out of Arizona State in the 2022 NFL Draft, DJ Davidson. He's been on the PUP list with the knee injury, but he's been taken off, and he was at practice on Monday, and that is great news for the interior part of this defensive line, because we saw on Friday, and we know after looking at this depth chart, that they are still somewhat limited, and a couple of guys have been banged up. A'Shawn Robinson has been on and off the injury report. We know Leonard Williams has got a couple of rest days, and we don't want Dexter Lawrence to play 90% of the snaps like he did last year. So you're going to need a guy like Rakeem Nunez Roches to go out there. I want to see what DJ Davidson can do in year 2. And we're going to talk about Jordon Riley later on in today's show, as he is really impressing, and it's being noticed across the NFL landscape. But with DJ Davidson off the PUP list, only 2 players remain. That is Wan'Dale Robinson and Aaron Robinson. We spoke about Wan'Dale a couple of days ago. That's why you subscribe to the channel. Joe Schoen said he expects him to be back on the football field wearing the pads in a couple of weeks. And that is great news, as a lot of people thought he could begin the season on the PUP list. Don't have much of an update on Aaron Robinson. I will do my best to find more about that and see when he might get back to the gridiron. Let's talk about practice today, though. A guy that continues to flash time and time again, and he even did it in the preseason game with an interception. Dane Belton, the second-year safety out of Iowa. Another big play, another turnover for him. Pick 6 off of Daniel Jones in practice today. Jones was targeting Darius Slayton, and Belton, he just jumped in front of it and took it the other way. And I would say that this strong safety position battle has already been determined, and Jason Pinnock is going to be that guy. He started Friday's game with an absolute bang, but Dane Belton continues to create havoc. He continues to create turnovers for this defense, and I'm not going to be upset if I see Dane Belton, Jason Pinnock, and Xavier McKinney all on the field together a lot week 1 against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. I'm a big fan of Dane Belton. He had a bunch of splash plays his rookie year, battled with some injuries, but I see a guy that if he's on the field, he is going to be a ball hawk, and he's also someone that can come up and hit you in the run game and fill some run lanes and play in the box. The Giants have a good problem right now about who is going to be that starting safety alongside Xavier McKinney. I'm cool with either guy, but I want you all to decide right now. Who do you want to be the starting safety next to X? Is it Jason Pinnock? Is it Dane Belton? Type the initials of the player that you want to see at the safety spot down in the comment section. Keep on rolling on today's video. Let's talk about some position battles, because we got to see some of those unfold in the preseason game on Friday. We got an extended look at Joshua Ezeudu at left guard, Michael Schmitz at center, as well as Ben Bredeson at the right guard position. We saw how the running back snaps were somewhat being shaken up, and I just like the way that this team right now is operating in a sense of letting everybody get a chance to prove what their worth is and if they can make an impact on this team. Let's go to Dan Duggan of The Athletic. Follow him on Twitter. Awesome beat reporter. One of my favorite guys on the job. Does a great job. Gave us a little inside look at the position battles going down at the 13th training camp practice. Wow, it's already been 3 weeks of practice, 14 coming up. Michael Schmitz played pretty much the whole first half at center for the Giants on Friday. Monday, he was the starter at practice, and I don't expect that to change anymore. He was the best lineman on the field for New York. We saw Ben Bredeson got the starting snaps at left guard. Ezeudu mixed in. Then you got Mark Lewinsky, who didn't play on Friday. He's back in the starting position at the right guard. Bredeson mixed in there. The inside linebacker 2 spot. We didn't see Darian Beavers on Friday. That was a little bit disappointing. I'm interested to see what he's going to do after he tore his ACL in his rookie year. Big, strong, fast guy, plays downhill. Want to see him in this defense, but if he can't go, expect Micah McFadden to be that guy. But the most, I would say, interesting piece of this is they had Adoree Jackson starting at the slot cornerback positions with Deonte Banks and Tre Hawkins on the outside. And I thought when this started to happen at the beginning of camp, it was just so they could get a look at Jackson in the slot, and they wanted to see both rookies on the outside. But the more I think about it and the more I see this unfolding, I think the Giants want Adoree Jackson to play the slot corner position at least for week 1 against the Cowboys so he can guard CeeDee Lamb, because CeeDee predominantly lines up in that slot spot on the football field. 376 snaps in the slot last year for Lamb, which was 62.5% of his offensive snaps. He's their best player. He's their best playmaker on the outside. And let's get our best player, Adoree Jackson, on him. I don't want Jackson playing in the slot the whole season, despite being a really good tackler. I just want to see him on the boundary. But week 1, against the Cowboys, locked up with number 88, CeeDee Lamb, I am all about it. Good on good. Let the best man win. Speaking of the Cowboys and CeeDee, we are just a couple of weeks away from week 1. I am excited, and it's time to get our mind right. If you prepare in a positive way, you're going to be ready for whatever challenges face you. And we got a big one, Sunday Night Football week 1 against the Cowboys. Let's get our mental right. Type F Dallas if you hate the Cowboys and want to beat them week 1. I want to bring up a rookie before we bounce on out of here in today's video. that I haven't spent much time on this channel talking about. A player that I honestly thought might not make this team, and he would be a practice squad player throughout his rookie season. And that is Jordon Riley, the interior defensive lineman, the 7th-round draft pick out of Oregon. He looked really, really good in the limited snaps he got in the second half on Friday, and it is being noticed not only by Brian Daboll, but also a former NFL great and a person that really knows what he's talking about in the trenches. Dan Salomone, who works for the Giants, said this. Brian Daboll said Jordon Riley has made steady improvement. It's a good room to be in as a rookie with veterans. Quote, he's in a good spot and he's got the right mindset. There's no way Daboll didn't notice the plays that he made in the trenches in that second half and had some great run stuff. But as Brian Baldinger, who always breaks down NFL highlights, had this to say about the Giants' 6th, 7th round selection. This kid can anchor. He can hold his ground. You've got to love what you're seeing from Jordon Riley. This guy can hold the point. The Giants needed this badly. They needed this because Dexter Lawrence can't play as many snaps as he did last year. Jordon Riley, keep your eye on him. And I really am impressed by what I saw from him. 6'5.5", 340 pounds. 7th-round selection out of Oregon. I thought he could one day progress into a rotational piece, but I think in his rookie year, he might be someone that could give Dexter Lawrence a breather every once in a while. Doesn't have the pass rush ability yet, but he can attach to blocks, shed blocks, and make plays near or around the line of scrimmage. Big things coming for number 95, the rookie out of Oregon. And speaking of the rookies, this Giants draft class by Joe Schoen, I am absolutely hyped up about it. I think Deonte Banks is going to have a good career. Michael Schmitz, Jalin Hyatt, a little bit disappointed by Eric Gray in preseason game number 1. He didn't look all that fast, and we knew he wasn't fast. We've told you about that. But he just looked slower than I thought he did on film back in the Big 12. We saw the shiftiness, and we saw the ability to run through arm tackles, but I was a little bit disappointed in him. I thought Jashaun Corbin looked good, better. But we know Tre Hawkins has been a stud. Jordon Riley is now coming onto the scene. And we've spoke about how I'm a fan favorite of Gervarrius Owens. Almost had an interception. He's all over the football field. Plays like his hair is on fire. I'm a fan of him. This rookie draft class, the 7 picks Joe Schoen made, they could be a difference maker and a foundation setter for this organization as they go on. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to New York Giants Now by Chat Sports as always. Make sure you are subscribed, though. We're going to be live on the channel in a couple of hours. We'll also be live on Friday for preseason week 2. And join us if you want to win tickets to next week's game against the New York Jets. And remember, you can also follow me on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting about the Giants all day, every day. And I want to chop it up about Big Blue with you. So give me a follow right here at @MarshallGreen_.